Greetings, guys. Welcome to another installment of Fanboy JunKtion. This is Mr. J, and we're just going to roll into it. I'm going to start today's episode with another comment from our junk box. This comes from Sergio, and he asks, why does everybody hate the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D? Well, my answer is twofold. Number one, I think it's high expectations. And I don't mean like wanting a great show per se. I'm talking about beyond what a television show could even provide. All these people are watching Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Avengers movies, and that's what they want this TV show to be. And quite honestly, it kind of makes sense. I mean, if you're going to link a TV show to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you might as well have those characters there. Yeah, Nick Fury was in the second episode for about a minute, but generally speaking, they're never there. And more than likely, those guys are never going to be there. You're not going to get Robert Downey Jr. or Thor. Any of those people actually show up in the TV show for an episode. Maybe season 3 or 4, but I highly doubt it. So I think a lot of people watch that show wanting the movie quality, the Marvel Cinematic movie quality, and you're just not going to get that in a TV show. You're talking about movies that take months and months to shoot. Television show, maybe 11 days, maybe 2 weeks. So you're just not going to get the level of quality. You're not going to get the characters that we all want to see. So for that reason, for that number one reason, that's why I don't think people like it. And number two, quite honestly, it's not that good of a show. I mean, you know, Coulson's a good character. The Agent May's a good character. But other than those two, the rest of the characters are kind of crappy. I mean, I don't know what's up with the two tech people, but they're just downright annoying. The little hacker girl, she's kind of cute, but other than that, she doesn't really add anything. And the guy they got to be the stalwart action guy, I mean, I haven't seen action that bad and acting that stiff since Riker from Star Trek The Next Generation. I mean, he got better with the season went on, but that first series or season, it was just kind of like that. So I think for those couple reasons, it's just not working. And I think that's kind of sad. If you're going to go ahead and have a TV show take place in the Marvel Universe, there are so many street-level characters. You don't have to have like Balder the Brave or Thor or all those characters from the movies. I mean, you've got, you know, Moon Knight, you've got Mockingbird, who was supposed to be part of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, there's all these other street-level characters that would be very easy to insert into the TV show that I think they're just not taking the opportunity to use. So, yeah. Sergio, to answer your question, high expectation, they want movie quality stuff, not going to get it, and the movie character, not going to happen. And two, the show's really not that good. Characters aren't that well developed, and you know, if it wasn't for Agent Coulson, I don't think that thing would have made it past episode 2 or 3. Now, I'm hoping it goes past season 1, and maybe season 2, season 3 will see some momentum, some real money. They'll be able to do the things we want to see in the show. But until that happens, the show's just going to be mediocre at best. So, speaking of TV shows, speaking of comic book related stuff, let's go ahead and turn the page and switch to cartoons. Okay? And I'm going to admit, this cartoon is, I don't want to say a guilty pleasure because a lot of people I know love it, and it's, ha! Look at these little guys. Oh, they're so cute. Little turtle characters. I never thought in a million years that I'd be able to buy these kind of figures. A little segue here. I am just simply amazed at how available all of our random comic book characters are in toy form. I mean, the Marvel Universe toy line has done an excellent job of just grabbing obscure characters, but I'm talking about the children level stuff. I mean, look at this. Look at that. I'd have never thought I would have gotten a figure like this. But on top of that, I saw Red Tornado and Cyborg as little figures from the Imaginext line. I mean, it's hard for me not to buy them all for my children. But I'm just, if I was, 6 or 7 years old in this time, I would be happier than a pig. And you know what? Just getting all of these toys. So it's just really, if you're ever just bored and you're at Walmart or Target or whatever, go down some of these toy aisles, especially the little infant child toys, and it's amazing. I mean, Aquaman is in the Lego set, and he has his own figure in Imaginext line. What? Are you kidding me? Captain Britain has 3 or 4 characters in the Marvel, or 3 or 4 figures in the Marvel Universe line. I mean, again, these are characters I love, characters that I would never think would ever appear in figure form, and they're in figure form for kids. It's just amazing. Anyway, sorry. What was I talking about? Turtles. I have been a fan of the Turtles cartoon since it was in the 80s. I mean, I didn't know any better. I liked the cartoon, and then I went and bought the comic book, and the comic book, of course, was just so much cooler. It's the comic book, honestly, is ultra violent. It's increased intense martial arts action. They were ninjas, so they killed people left and right. I mean, hell, Shredder died in the very first episode, and they killed about 40 people in that first episode. So combos was great. The cartoon, the 80s cartoon, was definitely kind of geared down, aimed towards kids, which is fine. You know, we all sucked it up. We loved it, and I had the figures. I watched all the stuff. You go back now, and it's kind of like watching Thundercats now, where you're like, wow, I love this show as a kid. And you watch it as an adult, you're like, yeah, kind of cheesy. And then they did that cartoon in 2003. And I really like that cartoon. I'm not even talking about watching it with my kids' cartoons. I mean, if I only have one at a time. But I'm talking about, like, I watched it, I bought the DVDs, I loved it. It kind of follows more with what the comic book was, a lot darker, and it kind of had a science fiction element to it. And I just thought it was great. Leonardo's my favorite. I think that particular series had the best incarnation of Leonardo. But overall, the brand new one that just started back last year, 2012, it is, in a sense, an update of the first cartoon from the 80s. It's got that real kind of kid feel to it, but it's still intense enough. It still has kind of some of the twists and turns and the better writing that, I mean, honestly, I watch it without my kids. They may have seen maybe half the season. I've seen the whole season and all the new ones. I watch it without them. I don't care. It's a great show. And quite honestly, in this version of the TV show, Michelangelo's my favorite character. Greg Sipes is the voice actor for Michelangelo. He also does Iron Fist in Ultimate Spider-Man. Tell me, let me say it. Talk about Ultimate Spider-Man. Love that show. Love me some Iron Fist. Anyway, this guy, he's a great voice actor. I'm a fan of a lot of voice actors, but his stuff I can usually spot him unless he's doing kind of like the weird kid voices. But he just gives that character humor and just a lovability. He's a complete moron in the show, but you still love him. And I think that he provides enough comic relief without coming across as too much or trying too hard. And of course, you've got Jason Biggs as Leonardo. He does a really solid job. Sean Astin as Raphael. Talk about odd casting. And then Rob Paulson, who was Raphael in the original series, is now Donatello. And it's really a good show. It's well written. Again, a little more aimed for kids, and it has some of the kind of the animated, the little dots in the eyes. But all in all, if you can kind of get used to that, the style of the show, the CGI I wasn't sure about, but it's solid. The writing is good. A lot of twists and turns. You've got mutations all over the place. So definitely, there's definitely episodes where you go, wow, I just want that toy, and it's hard for me not to buy a lot of the toys. But all in all, I would say check it out. I mean, if you can find it online, if you can, go buy the DVDs, they've got the first couple episodes out. It's a good watch. If you have kids, I don't know how many of you do, probably maybe some. Watch it with them. If not, just watch it yourself. I don't know if you're going to get caught watching it. But it's good, clean fun. I enjoy it. Definitely check it out. Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't help it. These guys, they're so really cute. No, I'm not opening them. Alright, so turning the page to the next thing, keeping on kind of a television theme, I am going to talk about the TV show Arrow. I watched the first season came on Netflix, and of course, when something on Netflix, you can just binge watch it. And I think that when my wife and I did that probably for a week and a half and just blew through the entire first season. And then kind of, had that pseudo cliffhanger at the end, so we started watching a couple of episodes of the second season. And I gotta say, it's kind of a weird situation here. I'm a fan of the guy who plays Green Arrow. I'm a fan of him as far as him being Green Arrow and his storyline, and him and the computer chick and the bodyguard guy. And if the show was just about them, I think it'd be an excellent show. But only about 30% of the show is about them. There's probably 10 or 15 different main characters, and it's just, I get lost. I don't care. I mean, if you got Green Arrow, or Hood, or whatever they call him, Vigilante, you got his bodyguard, and you got the computer chick. So that's three. Then you got his mom, you got a stepdad, you got a sister, his sister's boyfriend, his ex-girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend's dad. He had his best friend, and luckily they, hey, you know what? It's second season, whatever. So all those characters that I don't care about. I don't want to follow his ex-girlfriend. I don't want to follow his best friend. I don't want to follow anybody but the title character. And then on top of that, they do flashbacks. So now you've got main characters in the flashbacks. Some Asian chick, Deathstroke, some other Asian guy. And I'm like, I don't want to see that. I don't care. Give me, this show is called Arrow. You know, I could pseudo forgive Smallville because it was called Smallville. It wasn't called Superboy or Clark Kent or Superman. So, you know, they kind of would follow some of the characters, so it's kind of about that group of people. But when it's called Arrow, it's about the guy. And I want to see the show about the guy. I don't care about anything else. I think, Burn Notice, I love that show. You gotta watch it. It's a great show. And I think if you gave that guy a superhero costume to wear just when he was assaulting something, Batman. I like the idea of him being Batman, but whatever. Ben Affleck's already got the job. My point is that show is perfect. He's got three side characters, Chuck and the girl and his mom, and then the new guy who comes in like season 4 or 5. But it's all basically centered around him. He's the main character of the show. It follows him. And yeah, there might be scenes without him, but it ultimately is related to him. And it's lasted 6 seasons. It's a great show. You've got great action. You've got a subplot that usually goes through the whole season. Each episode has its own plot. It wraps up nicely. And I think that for a comic book show, Burn Notice should be your template. Take that. We don't go see his mom go play poker with her friends and then watch them bicker amongst themselves because it doesn't matter. It's not called Mom Notice. It's called Burn Notice, which is the main guy. The show is called Arrow. It should be about the dude. If it's not about him, I don't want to see something else. I don't want to see mom and stepdad divorce. I don't want to see business dealings unless he's doing the business dealing. So people make an Arrow. Get rid of the flashbacks. Kill off the sister, the mom, the ex-girlfriend, anybody who is not Arrow's team, so we can actually watch an Arrow show. I will say this, the one thing I do like, I mean, not only does the guy who plays Arrow, he does a really good job, but two, I really love the fact that unlike Smallville, they just keep, or even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they just keep putting in DC characters. You got Deathstroke, you got, I think Black Canary showed up, you got Bronze Tiger, Michael J. White, yeah. You got, the first season had, his Merlin, his arch nemesis. You had, oh man, who's the other guy showed up in the first episode and he killed off? Yeah, Deathstroke. I mean, there's a lot of these characters that I like seeing that keep coming back. I will say that about the show. I love the fact that they just keep bringing in these characters. That these comic book characters that we've seen are just here and there, and just kick it up more. Bring them back. I think we're dealing with the League of Assassins right now. And the other thing that I was concerned about with the show was that, I watched the Justice League cartoon. We all watched Smallville, saw what Green Arrow was like. And I kind of, at first, was kind of troubled by the fact that he was just very dark and brooding. So I did some research and come to find out in the late 70s, early 80s, Mike Grell, great comic book artist, great comic book writer, John Sable, another one of my random favorite characters. But he had done a Green Arrow comic book series. And the first thing he had done was completely take him out of the DC universe and just had him doing this dark, brooding, vigilante, problem-solving kind of storyline, similar to what the show is. And even if a hero appeared, like Hal Jordan appeared in an episode, he just appeared in plainclothes. He wasn't in costume. So for those of you who might watch the show and say, well, this isn't the Green Lantern or the Green Arrow I'm used to, it's because it's not the Green Arrow you're used to. This is the Green Arrow from before, your Mike Grell Green Arrow. So I appreciated that, and it kind of reinvigorated me to keep watching the show. But even then, the too many supporting characters. Kill supporting characters. Get rid of them. I'll be happier. You might get a more cohesive story, maybe larger fan base. I don't know. I mean, I guess the thing got renewed for second season, but kudos to random DC characters. Kudos to the main cast. Just get rid of supporting cast. I'll be happier. Anyway, well, that wraps up our episode of Fanboy Junction. If you want, email me right here to the junk box. I'll bring up your emails, answer some of your questions, maybe use them as a topic. If you agree with me, disagree with me, please let me know right down there in the comments section. Sometimes I'll argue, sometimes I'll ignore you. I don't know. Let's see. Again, thank you very much for watching the show. Have a nice day. See you next time.